Welcome to the Waygook Weekend Update! The graphics department is working on something, so maybe we'll have something better next week. Annyeonghaseyo, and welcome to the Waygook Weekend Update. I'm your host, Broe, and these are the headlines for the weekend of Saturday, March 10th. Veteran actor Hong Seok-cheon was back in the headlines this week after the Los Angeles Times ran a feature on him. Hong Seok-cheon has become one of South Korea's leading gay rights activists after coming out of the closet in 2000. Mr. Hong claims he made history this week as the first man to discuss sex and sexual orientation on air in Korea while guest appearing on the popular TV show Star Lecture Series. He is most well known for being the one-time host of a popular 1990s sitcom, Po Po Po, that was often referred to as South Korea's Sesame Street. When he came out of the closet in 2000, he was immediately fired from the program and cast out as a pariah in Korean society. He reflected on his decision then to come out, and claims with Korea's traditional Confucian origins and its modern embracement of Christianity, he really should have seen that coming. When reached for comment by the old people of Korea, they responded by saying, "Who? Oh yeah, that guy. Well, he's not gay, and even if he is, we assure you he's the only one." On the popular Korean blog, The Marmot's Hole, photos surfaced of Koreans drinking alcohol on a subway car, being loud, and blocking the subway doors and walking paths for the other passengers. This is really only news because photos of white English teachers doing the exact same thing surfaced last year, and Korean netizens threw a collective hissy fit and claimed Waygooks had no respect for Korea. When asked for comment about the glaring hypocrisy of the situation, Korean netizens responded, "Well, whatever. Unlike some foreigners, at least Koreans never park their cars on the sidewalks, urinate in the streets, pass out drunk in public places, or cut in line at the grocery stores." It was reported this week on Busan Haps, the magazine for what's happening in Busan, that the program for native English-speaking teachers in public schools in Busan will be cut dramatically next year. The Busan MOE claims last year 522 teachers were employed in the district, and they spent 4 billion won over budget because they overhired. Due to cuts last year, and more cuts coming this year to the English education budgets, the city of Busan said it will have to let go of at least 55 to as many as 75 native teachers for next year. The Busan Office of Education says it's embarrassed by the cuts, and it's going to have to adjust its recruitment goals for the second semester to compensate. When reached for comment by some of the adorable children attending an elementary school about to lose their native-speaking teacher, they said, "Hi, how are you? I'm fine, and you? Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too." The United States announced a breakthrough this week in efforts to start full-fledged bilateral and multilateral talks on denuclearization with North Korea. In their high-level meetings in Beijing last month, the North agreed to freeze its uranium enrichment program at Yongbyon nuclear site and refrain from nuclear and long-range missile tests while talks are underway. In return, the United States has promised to the North Korean government 240,000 tons of food aid, and the promise that they would talk to the Harlem Globetrotters to see if they could be persuaded to play a charity exhibition game in Pyongyang versus Kim Jong-un and 30 of his closest bodyguards. The Donga Ilbo reported this week that Radio Free Asia could quote a confidential source within the North Korean military that more than 10 North Korean soldiers and tens of others were injured as a result of the South Korean counterattacks after the North shelled Yongpyong Island in 2010. The South Korean military remains confident, after their counter-response shelling, that North Korean forces are reluctant to fight or even engage in artillery fire with South Korean forces again. When asked for comment on these claims, the official response from the North Korean regime was that the counter-artillery fire from the south not only missed and failed to harm any of their forces, but it managed to open up fissures in the ground in which rare and amazing treasures poured forth. They then added, "Thanks for the gold and the bulletproof unicorns that we found as a result of your feeble and inept counterattack." The Chosun Ilbo reported this week that statistics show that a growing number of Koreans are putting off marriage until they are into their 40s. The Gyeonggi-do Family and Research Institute surveyed that the number of men in their 40s who are tying the knot for the first time has increased by more than fourfold from a decade ago, while the number of women has more than doubled. The article commented that the main reason for Koreans waiting so long to be married for the first time is that they want to feel financially secure and have a fulfilling career before they settle down and marry. Senior executives at Korea's largest corporations were shocked by these statistics, claiming they had no idea that their employees, by the time they were in their 40s, were starting to feel financially secure enough to start a family. They claimed they would do their part and improve those statistics and make sure their employees never felt financially secure enough to start a family. And now for the weather, me dressed up as a ninja. It's going to be cloudy tonight. Good chances of heavy fog. You won't see me coming. Thanks, me. The payment of 100 pounds of gold will soon be ours. South Korean star Ham Eun-jung is back in the headlines this week as disgusting Korean internet trolls remain unwilling to leave this woman and her body image alone. Eun-jung is a popular singer from the K-pop group Tiara, and she was photographed this week in Indonesia while filming a television episode of the MBC variety show We Got Married. Korean netizens kept commenting about how much chubbier she looks in these photos and how her V-line chin was nowhere to be seen. When asked for comment from some random American guy, he said, "Why is that skinny Korean girl wearing high heels in the jungle?" The Korean Jungan Daily reported this week that 7 Korean teenage boys allegedly carried out a cyber attack on the website for the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. Last year, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family enacted numerous unfavorable laws targeting children, including the now infamous Cinderella policy. This policy prohibits any minor from logging onto the internet and playing online games between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. The policy aims to reduce the growing trend of computer gaming addiction amongst children in Korea. The teenagers claimed they orchestrated the cyber attack on the ministry's website because they feel like older people in Korea don't care what they think and they don't want them to be happy. To which every Korean in the nation collectively sighed and said, "Feels the same way for us too sometimes." Okay, that's all for tonight. Be sure to tune in next week. Thank you. For budgets because they overhired. Due to cuts last year and more cuts coming this year to English education budgets, I can do better.